Yet it's yet another day and another time out on the program Ground Zero. Today we are having an abridged version because I'm transmitting right from my hotel room in Zaria. So for those watching us, you can see the background, the way it looks and all of that. It's an improvised studio, and like I always tell you, with technology, we can take the station to wherever we are. My name is Ehis Agbon, and it's time for Ground Zero. And on Ground Zero today, we have a bumper package, a package where we'll be talking about an activity that's taking place right now in Zaria, where I am. And also, we will be looking at FBI that is set to release 2,500 documents on President Tinubu from October. And the third item that we'll be looking at is organ harvesting suspect, the person that calls himself Dr. Noah Kekere, the NMA in Plateau State, has come out to say that he is not a medical doctor. Ground Zero is a program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and with you, the listener, and of course experts that we have in the studio with us, we try our best to see how we can have a clearer and better understanding of these issues. On the program today, I have two guests. The first guest is seated with me. The second guest is just by my wings. You will see him soon. So, and to be part of the program, when we open up the phone lines, and of course, the social media portals are always open, and on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you can go to @Procyon RTV to drop your comments and observations. But meanwhile, if you want to drop your voice notes on our WhatsApp portal, the number is 0809 799 1989. Of course, download the Procyon Radio and TV app on Google Play Store to listen to us, watch us, and read great news on procyonnews.com. Meanwhile, this transmission is done in collaboration with Invicta FM. Invicta is on 98.9 FM. You can also listen to us via terrestrial right here. So we'll go straight to the first segment of the program, which is just me and Yusuf Goje. So let's talk about it. In the past 2 days, I've been in Zaria, and I'm part of a technical session on strengthening social accountability through performance audit in Kaduna State. And it's a program that is supported by the Partnership to Engage Reform and Learn, PEAL, ECP. And it is generally being facilitated by CS-Legislature Engagement and Accountability Platform, LEAP. And it's a 2-day multi-stakeholder technical session to brainstorm and develop a community engagement framework for the performance audit process towards effective social accountability. Well, since Goje is with me here, so I'll just go straight to him to give us, first of all, we need to understand exactly what is happening here, why we are doing it, and to achieve what aim. Over to you, Yusuf Goje.
Thank you very much, Mr. It's always a pleasure being on your program, and thankfully today we are doing it out of Kaduna. We are here in Zaria to really discuss critical issues that directly speaks to the security and welfare of residents of Kaduna State. And as it is, many are aware that Kaduna has one of the highest multidimensional poverty rate, which means that a lot of citizens, and in this time, if we put figures to that that particular phrase, is about 8.04 million residents of Kaduna are said to be multidimensionally poor. And what that means is that not only that they are poor in terms of income, they are also poor because they can't access basic social amenities that every citizen is entitled to. And that is also because government services that should ensure that the child or the mother should have adequate health care services is not provided. The child that should be able to go to school to acquire qualitative education is not getting that qualitative education. The businesses that should have enabling environment for them to be able to carry out their business, create wealth, create jobs, and contribute revenue to the government, that enabling environment is not adequately provided. So this meeting today is to critically look at how government services are being carried out vis-a-vis the monies government is spending in this direction. And that is why we are looking at one performance audit. So that is to say, we go out looking at what government is providing as services. Is there value for money for those services? Because in Kaduna and all over the country, there are instances where you go and see projects that have been carried out but have not been carried out to the best of quality. And at the end of the day, it is these communities that are shortchanged. The government and the civil society and the contractors end up going away, and it is the communities that end up suffering from this lack of quality service delivery. So today, from yesterday and today, we've been looking at the Auditor General's report to see how we can ensure that citizens, through social accountability, can participate in ensuring that government services have value for money. And we want to commend the Auditor General's Office of Kaduna State for also introducing the performance audit into the audit process, so that beyond just looking at what government said they have spent, they are now going to the field to see that what government said they spent on is based on quality, and communities will end up benefiting. And also here in Zaria, we have members of the State House of Assembly.
Okay.
The Public Accounts Committee Chairman is here, the Planning and Budget Committee Chairman is here, and the representative of the Chairman on Appropriation is also here with us. And we are looking at how the civil society can collaborate with the state legislators to ensure that there is value for money in government service delivery, because the responsibility of the legislator, apart from lawmaking and appropriation, is also oversight and also auditing, giving recommendations to the audit carried out by the Office of the Auditor General through the Public Accounts Committee. So we are working together with them, with the Office of the Auditor General for state and local government here, and we are developing a framework where every year we go out together in collaboration to follow up on services, public services being delivered, to ensure that there is value for money that would benefit the ordinary citizens. Because the only way we can fight poverty meaningfully in Kaduna State is to ensure that services that should improve the security and welfare of the citizens of Kaduna or residents of Kaduna are carried out in a way that there's value for money and citizens can benefit. Government is at the verge of rolling out its social protection intervention around palliatives. But palliatives is not a sustainable way to fight poverty.
Okay.
The most sustainable way to fight poverty is for government to ensure that all its services are able to deliver value for money and citizens can benefit from those services and be able to live a life of dignity at the end of the day. So that is basically why we are here in Zaria, to bridge the gap between the legislators, the Office of the Auditor General, even the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, and the civil society and media on how can we work collaboratively to come up with what is called a framework that will enable us ensure that when government say they are spending 1 naira in the budget, those monies are really going to deliver value for money for the ordinary man, and people can begin to go to hospital and access quality and affordable services. People can send their children to school, and even though it is supposed to be free, when it is free, it should be of the highest quality. That when the government is currently carrying out the rural roads construction projects, that those roads are constructed to the best of quality so that citizens can really benefit from that. And basically that is the conversation we've been having for the last 2 days. And living here, we are going to be working more collaboratively with these stakeholders to ensure that in service delivery, we hold the executive arm accountable.
Thank you so very much, Yusuf Goje. Yeah. I would have loved to have you, but I know they really need you in the hall now. Yeah. So whatever questions we get,
yes,
I'll put them together and send to you. And for the viewers and listeners, so we'll see how whatever answers you require from the questions, how we'll put them on the portal so that you can see the answers. Thank you very much again. We'll have a pleasant deliberation today as I invite Danjuma Abbas Dangwa to come take the warm seats, not the hot seat. All right, Danjuma Abbas Dangwa is from the Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment, and Development, CAPED. Danjuma, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you so much, Ehis. It's a pleasure being here with you today.
All right, going straight to the other aspect of the program that I said Danjuma will be concentrating on this evening. And I'd like to just give a little background on the two other aspects that I want Danjuma to deliberate on. The first one is the case of the FBI, that is the Federal Bureau of Intelligence in the United States of America, will release approximately 2,500 documents relating to Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, according to a court ruling. Excuse me. The documents are being released in response to a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request filed by Aaron Greenspan, who runs Plain Sight, a website that pushes anti-corruption and transparency in public service. Greenspan filed the request in collaboration with journalist David Hundenye. I actually stumbled on the story on his handle, and looking at it and the merit of it, I felt it has to be on Ground Zero. The documents are expected to be provided to provide more information about Tinubu's time in the United States, including when he entered the country, under what name he entered, and his activities while there. The documents are also expected to shed light on Tinubu's alleged involvement in drug trafficking in the 1990s. All right? The documents are scheduled to be released in batches of 500 pages per month beginning in October. All right. Now we'll look at the second item today, which is the Nigerian Medical Association says the just organ harvesting doctor Noah Kekere is a fake doctor in Jos. Mr. Kekere, who allegedly claimed to be a medical doctor, was recently arrested after he was accused of harvesting a woman's kidney during a surgery. The association's disclaimer is contained in a statement jointly issued by Dr. Bapigan Audu, its chairman, and Dr. Estefanus Bako, the spokesperson of the association. Mr. Kekere was arrested by the police after a businessman, one Alhaji Kamal, accused him of removing one of his wife's kidney during surgery. The funny part of it all was that not long after he was arrested and in detention, he started manifesting some symptoms and actions that seem to indicate that he is not mentally okay. In the local parlance in Nigeria, we call it, he started exhibiting ment behavior. When they say someone is ment, meaning the person is gone cuckoos or bananas. And based on that, he was alleged to have also been placed under psychiatric observations. These are the two items that we'll be looking at today on the program. But first, I want us to start with the doctor and the mental case issue before we come. Organ harvesting. If you recall, not too long ago, the former three or four person in Nigeria, in the person of Senator Ike Kweremadu, was prosecuted in the UK for procuring, organizing, and attempting to traffic organs, and he's already doing his time there and all of that. Now it's coming up again. How bad is organ harvesting? How ethical, how bad, or what exactly is wrong with it?
Well, certainly the fact that the issue is coming up as an act that has been carried out without the consent of the patient that was treated in that incident says that it was totally an unethical action, and the grievous concern there is that the surgery took place sometime in 2018, and it took up until just now the person in question going to a new hospital or new medical facility to get to now realize that her organs were actually harvested. So the the matter really speaks about how weak, our regulations are. That NMA, the National Medical Association, now saying that he's not the person in question. Is not even a medical doctor, that is probably not licensed to carry out this, to carry out any medical consultancy at all, then also begs again for questions as to what is really happening within our healthcare service delivery system. But of course, this is not just the only place where you find quacks parading themselves as professionals, and certainly whether the statement from the NMA is true that he was never trained or not is something that is still, perhaps being investigated.
Yeah.
But what is most unfortunate is that there are so many Nigerians who may have gone through similar ordeals or have also suffered similar fate. Or better yet, never enjoyed quality services from some of these medical facilities. But who do they, cry out to? Where do they run to? And then the whole matter now, as we have it, is about to test to see whether we have laws in Nigeria that really protect Nigerian citizens from any of these, mishaps that could happen to just anyone at all, because this medical health facility is said to be in a major town in Nigeria and not just in a rural kind of a community. And so if it's a facility that had attracted the confidence of patients, that perhaps this is a very important facility, very functional and effective in terms of providing quality medical services or healthcare services, then we are actually at the point where the government as regulatory institutions now, and also the people need to actually dialogue more and understand what really needs to be done to strengthen the space, and also ensure that such quacks, wherever they are deprived the right to go around, putting the lives of Nigerian citizens in danger.
Wow, all of it wrapped up in one. The bottom line is that what happened shouldn't have happened.
Certainly.
Now, I recall so many years ago, elsewhere, I was working then too. A case like this came in where two Nigerians were deceived and told that they were taking them to the USA, and the person managed to convince them that they call it plotting. They grab the plotter to go to US.
Yeah.
They have to go en route India. Got there, gave them food, was the last thing they remembered. When they woke up, they were in the hospital. A surgery had been conducted on them. And the man now told them that, why did they not tell him that they were sick and all of that? Now they have made him spend money. They should go back to Nigeria. He discharged them, gave them some medications to go back to Nigeria. This young man never knew that organs had been harvested. Their kidneys were removed. They came back to Nigeria, not until after a while, just like in the case of this woman, when they ran out of the medication they gave them, because such medications you are supposed to almost take for life. They fell ill almost at the same time, went to the hospital, symptoms manifested. After scanning, they discovered that organs have been harvested.
Yeah.
The first one, and the second person, same thing. Now, the organ harvesting as it is now, the trade in human organs is extremely very unethical. And for anybody to be involved in that, I think the person should get the maximum sentence. For those that even gave consent, talk less of one that in the guise of carrying out an appendix surgery, you harvested the person's kidneys. And you have also been loading the person with different medications all this while until the person decided that no, let her get a second opinion and went to a different medical facility. Well, the NBA came out and all of that. But it's also important that the NBA should not just fold their hands and watch until things go bad. They should I believe, have a team or a committee that is responsible for checking on different medical facilities, both private and public, to find out the kind of persons that are working there and the quality of service or qualifications that they have to render some level of services. It's vitally important.
Just before you go on that, just in the last decade, there was this coinage. I don't know if you heard about it. Rumors somewhere in the southeast, Malay.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Malay was just about organs harvesting. People get law to go to hotels to meet up with people. They've been conversing with people they rarely know anyway. And then from that hotel, what happens is organs harvesting, and who even knows how many of the victims end up dead. And all of these things are hushed up, and then in the event that the individual is even able to survive it, you rarely get to hear how justice is being served in that regard. So these are just issues that have really exposed how desperate people are becoming these days just to get by.
Yeah, sadly, and sadly too, when you hear people talk about they are into Yahoo and all of that, I tell you most of the time, it's a big lie. They've gone to sell their organs. Some willingly, with their consent, go sell their organs and claim they are donating it. And at the end of the day, get some monies that will not even sustain them or the kind of medications that is required to keep you alive after selling some of your organs. Well, that Yahoo man that around your neighborhood might have sold his or her organ and claim to have been doing Yahoo. By the way, do we think in our parlor, do you think Oimbo see the form Ugu? Let me put it that way. They are wiser. And so the next time you come to talk about you being and all of that, well, we know what you are. Yes, the program is Ground Zero, coming to you on Procyon Radio and Television in collaboration with Invicta FM. Quickly, we'll look at the second or the third item, rather. The United States Bureau of Investigation that is set to start to release approximately 2,500 documents relating to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and this is according to a court filing. They are going to start in October with a tranche of 500.
Yeah.
What use really is this?
And this is the height of an unbelievable admittance by the FBI for a freedom of information request that was made in 2022.
Yes.
And not even July 2020. I think about July 2022 or thereabout. And it is taking this long for the FBI. And I hear now even the CIA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, the Inland Revenue Service of the United States are all going to be releasing some of these files about the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is very, very disturbing. Not to say again that whether or not there are even going to be damning facts that are going to come as a result of in this file's releases, it's not the question. But why did it take this long?
Yeah.
Why did it take this long? Because these files they are about to release could really, in a way, go to say whether or not the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been upheld by the Nigerian authorities, especially beginning from the Independent National Electoral Commission, the institutions like the Department of State, the State Security Service, the National Intelligence Agency, and also the Nigerian Police Force, and a whole lot of other institutions in Nigeria. Why now? And this is actually very important because whenever we talk about democracy, it's about the people. And then the democracy is also not complete when there is no rule of law. And rule of law also expects that a freedom of information request that has been made to a public entity in the United States of America should certainly have not taken so long to elicit a response, and let alone for the fact that if this information was let out in good time, perhaps it will have really given Nigerians an opportunity to also appreciate the quality of the persons that were standing for elections in 2023. But be it as it may, I feel it is also very important to highlight the fact that this action is one that has really jeopardized democracy, not just in the way the United States of America has always portrayed herself to be a promoter of democracy globally, but also, you know, the risk that that democracy has become, you know, that is finding now in Africa, especially in the West African sub-region, where coup d'etats has happened in about 5 nations now, and nobody knows yet whether we've seen the last of it. Perhaps, again, God forbid that Nigeria does not fall into one of those countries that have that kind of story anyway, but notwithstanding, that democracy is actually at this risk, largely because the colonialists, as we always want to refer to them, you know, have made their relationship with African nations more transactional than progressive, than also being development centered. In many instances, you will find that the issues about rights, the issues about rule of law, the issues about strengthening institutions and governance systems have always been mounted as the support that some of these foreign governments are offering to nascent democracies in Africa. But most of the time, you find the misgivings, the mutual suspicion, the misconception that an individual who comes to office is really not pro-people, but mostly pro other, you know, external interest. And to be candid, when you go through files that tend to promote conspiracy theories, you begin to beg for answers whether this is not also a situation where foreign interests are really manipulating results of elections. By the way, the Trump elections, when he was succeeding Barack Obama, was also marred with such issues, whether Russia had influenced the outcome of that election or not. And certainly now we need to actually begin to worry whether the United States of America and other nations of the world have really influenced the elections in Nigeria, and to what extent will that undermine our democracy?
We open up the phone lines now. 0809-799-1989 and 0809-4646206. Like I said earlier, you can also drop a message on our social media handles at Procyon RTV on YouTube. Of course, you can watch us live now. We are streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook. You can also drop us a line on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all of the popular social media handles. All right, 0809-4646206 and 0809-799-1989 are the numbers to dial to be part of Ground Zero this evening. Even as we wait for your calls, we'll still look at the FBI releasing the files. Now, it took a Nigerian journalist, David Hunde, to have been on this issue for so long, and luckily he got someone, Greenspan, from Plain Sight that filed. Greenspan is an American citizen that filed for it. He runs a website that exposes corrupt practices, and it's also a transparency advocate. It took them to institute this case. Now, the main concern for many people is that if not for the tribunal judgment that claimed that the forfeiture that the president forfeited the sum of over $460,000 in the USA, they didn't see that as a crime directly, and I think it was couched in such a way that it is the property that the forfeiture was against, not the person. But now someone owns the property.
Yes.
So is it not the person that owns the property that should be in the direct line of fire in respect of that? Well, I'm just a journalist. They are justices.
Oh, certainly.
So 009.
But yeah, to buttress the fact again, I mean, the whole idea that our constitution trumps any other law in Nigeria is something that has been begging for answers, even through all that litigation. We've seen situations like this happen in time past. The former governor of Delta State had a criminal record in the UK, and that was not known to Nigerians until way after, his time in office.
I think we have our first caller. Okay. Let's quickly take this call. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much. Good evening. This is Dave from Kaduna.
All right.
Yeah. You see, based on what the guy is saying on radio, we're happy with what he's saying. But what I want to add in essence is, there are a lot of irregularities and abnormalities in some of the rulings in the court.
Okay.
The government of the day should have at the back of their mind that there is hardship, untold hardship, or do I want to excruciating hardship in the country? What are they really doing about it? What is Nigeria complaining about? What is the grievances of Nigerians? What are the miseries Nigerians are facing? It's because of hardship, high cost of living in the country. They're not even doing anything about it. All what they're after is they're after leadership. They're after good coming to rule the masses. And they are forgetting that the masses are the ones struggling to make sure they put them there. So why was there the so tough and so hard on Nigerians like this? At least they should do something that will favor the masses. Nigerians are sick and tired of what is happening in this country. You cannot continue like this. We are talking about palliative. We are talking about what is not palliative. Is Nigeria coming from what? Is Nigeria coming from natural disaster? Is Nigeria coming from many disease outbreaks or pandemic? So what is the area of pandemic and the palliative? So the way I don't look at it, I think they are making sense. They are just wasting time. It's like they are taking they are not making it.
Okay. What would you directly recommend now? What would you recommend?
They should work on the economy. They should make sure they keep some of the debt or medical industry should be revived.
Okay.
They should create job opportunity for Nigerians. They should at least boost importation so that to reduce the cost of local production. Because if we go like this, Nigerians are suffering a lot. I would think cannot work out like this. Because if you don't, he who feels it knows it. And yet know how well this country. Everybody should benefit as a citizen of this country. Nobody is free. So they should stop driving us. Nigerians are tired of this hardship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for dropping your impression on the program this evening. We appreciate you. The number to dial to add your voice to the conversation is 0809-799-1989. We have our next caller this evening. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Mr. Ehis, and good evening to your guest over there.
Good evening.
My name is Ibrahim from Kaduna.
All right, Ibrahim.
Your analysis has been embraced, especially by me, because anytime you come on board with this program, I so cherish it. You see, elections have come and gone, but the remnant of cases is what is ongoing now. Well, this is the duty of democracy. You see, we have two systems of government, which is the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. The legislative make the law, the executive execute the law, and the judiciary interpret the law. I think what we just experienced or had for some few days or some weeks ago now is not another thing, the interpretation of the law. But I don't know why it's still generating more controversy. Any agreement can go to the higher court, which is the Supreme, which is the final bottom. But well, no matter how whatever they did now, because based on what this lawyer or these judges took their time to analyze last week that we all experienced, I don't think if you bring up with what I was as well. But the same thing with Rulers. My candidate went to our big politician. That is the lawyer to presidential candidate. Is to tell their lawyers are true, because the lawyers know what is true. They have not advised them very well and perfectly. The lawyers know. To me, they are trying just to make themselves more popular and more pronounced. That is just it. The law is very clear on everything that we're treated out. Look at the time the people they need to itemize all those things, one thing or the other. Why are we so? We know that I'm very sorry with all due respect. I don't want to use the word that they were women being so myopic. But our myopic system of our mind is somehow that we don't want to grow our own country downward. I'm telling you, those judges that don't handle this case, their name has been written on in the Goje. I'm not a coward. I'm not a fan of any of these things, but the way the justice did, the way they demonstrated, it really gives me that, yes, I applauded Nigerian judges that, yes, they can do better, even more better. But Nigeria must move forward. We must move forward. All these things that they bring upon is to strengthen our system, our judicial system, which is I really applauded them so far, so good. But Nigeria, by God, we get to the rules that will make Nigeria equality to all understanding, and Nigeria will succeed and move forward. That is just my advice. Thank you very much. The Nigerian democracy, we're going to get it right, but not this sort of democracy that is not working for us. Thanks.
Thank you so very much, Ibrahim. Always very consistent in his position. 0809-799-1989 is the number to dial. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Ehis. My name is Otumba Rufai Abdel Fateh from Kano Road, Abeokuta.
All right, Otumba, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Let me take on the first this thing that you had, that he said that they are exactly doing
social accountability.
Yeah, social accountability of something. Look, it is better before any budget or anything has to be done. It's better the legislature, the state assembly, both state, federal, should come to the grassroots, meet those who are concerned. Go to the grassroots. Take Kaduna Kaduna North local government now. When and where you are our representative, even call us, even say where is, there's supposed to be a town hall meeting.
Yes.
Okay, let them come directly to the grassroots. Here in Kaduna North, where is the town hall? Where is the town hall? Or when even do they even call? And even when they call, you don't see 1 or 2, 3 people. They say they are doing one town hall meeting that doesn't even reflect the grassroots. They should come and ask, what are your demands? Like, not what they need, they feel they want to do. No, it is what we need as a people. Kaduna North, what I need is different from what Kaduna South and other local governments need.
Yeah.
I think the earlier the better they should meet people from the grassroots. Not when the budget has already been done, you are now saying you are now following, what you are following, what has been allocated for. It's good that way, but at least before something has to be budgeted for, they have to come to the grassroots. That's my take on that.
All right.
Then for the president and FBI something, what they want to release, is it for public consumption or is it just for them for the court's sake?
It's for public consumption.
For public consumption, well, it's just because of the vital position of Mr. President.
Yeah.
This is not the first time he's done in politics. He has been governor for 8 years. Why don't we have then that somebody run for ask for all those kind of things? It's good that it's good that at least we should own this democracy. It is our responsibility that we ask questions. Thank God that people are now following up, and that is why we are seeing this kind of thing. I just pray and I hope that at least here in Nigeria too, we will have documents that will be kept for safety, for public consumption. Because if we have good documentation, people like Senator Danladi that are nominated for ministerial post shouldn't even come up at all, because he has 1 or 2 cases, or he has this thing on him. And even we have things like this, he shouldn't have even come up to even say he passed through the security agency and they still, it's just like the whole thing was just done anyhow. So I just pray at least we will have a very good archive that, for references where people can run to and say, yes, this is something is not supposed to, or this is something that has to. Let us take Nigeria as a project. Let's take this democracy our responsibility, so that everybody should be involved. When we are involved, we have a good leader. And that is why all of us Nigerians, me and you and every one of us, should do the right thing. Let us be honest and stop all this unnecessary corruption one way or the other. Good evening, sir.
Thank you so very much, Otumba Rufai. I promised you the other time that I was going to connect you to the CDC champion in Kaduna North local government. I actually have not followed through on that promise. So as soon as I get back to Kaduna, I will get in touch with him, and I will ensure that he gets in touch with you so that the next time they are doing a community development charter meeting, is that what it's called?
Yes, the CDC engagement is happening at community level, from community level and up to ward, and then subsequently local government level.
Okay, yes. So that the CDC
however,
champion,
what Rufai has also mentioned is the issue of constituency meetings.
Okay,
they have not been happening. Legislators who go to represent you need to come back to give you updates as to the decisions they are making on your behalf, because their core responsibility is representation. And when you represent somebody, you have the obligation to continue to provide updates and ensure that you avail opportunity for such a person to make input and whenever necessary.
And this is the last call we'll be taking today. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Awusko is the name from Nasarawa.
All right, Awusko, you are our last caller today. Quickly.
You see, the judgment issued by the tribunal, as enumerated by one of your callers, does not mean lawyers.
Oh dear, we lost Awusko. What's happening? Oh. Well, so let's see.
Meanwhile, the idea that constituency meetings have not been holding, our politicians do not seem to understand that they owe it to the people. They get into political office and they seem to be carried away by the paraphernalia of government and office. Is actually a thing of concern. Rufai just said something quite important: getting involved. And if Nigerians can not get involved, then certainly democracy is not working. And the idea is that governments at subnational levels need to be more accountable, even much more than the federal government. But you find that as we have today in practice, the laws enabling participation of citizens in government is more at the national level than we have subnationally. There is no time you hear about a piece of legislation going through the National Assembly without a public hearing. At states, laws will be passed, first reading, second reading, third reading, in a sprint, sometimes within a period of a day or two. This is not what it's supposed to be. And I agree with what Rufai is saying on that regard. As much as possible, lawmakers need to put their foot down and ensure that they understand that they are voted in the constituency and their constituency come first, and not Sarkashim, not Lugard Hall or the concerns of Sarkashim Ibrahim House, and certainly not the National Assembly at the Three Arms Zone, but also not the concerns of the Villa, but the concerns of their individual constituencies or senatorial districts. As much as possible, I think Nigerians want to be involved. Nigerians want to make contribution to this democracy, and any blockade to deprive them of that is a breach to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All
right, quickly looking at our social media handles, going to Facebook first, we have Humphrey Luore liking our page, and always Emmanuel the Don is always and consistently with us, and of course Kemi Charles is a consistent member. Sometime we will definitely give an award to this consistent member. But one thing that we also require from you is please drop a comment and let's have a feel of what you think. But also would also want you to follow our page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because on the YouTube, I would say that's where the action is. You can watch the videos of all of our programs. Like this program now is going live. After this program, you would watch other programs on our YouTube channel. So it's important for you to go to the YouTube channel and go watch these programs and get informed and enlightened. I'll say this about the size of the program today, but before I go, I first of all want to thank the management and staff of Invicta FM for this partnership, and also not forgetting Wisdom Agulana. He's connecting us, and of course Nifemi Onibiyo is uplinking Procyon Media Signal to Invicta FM. I would also want to thank Kendi Onibiyo. He's an intern with Procyon Media. Not forgetting Michael Faith, and of course, Agbon, and most importantly to Sarah Agbon, the head of production, the leader of she is the one actually producing this program. Coming back to the studio, I appreciate you, Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, for having time to be on Ground Zero this evening.
Thank you so much, Ehis.
All right, and to every other person that called in, it is because of you that we are here. Until on Friday, when we'll be on for a fresh package of the program, Ground Zero, right here on Procyon Radio. I would like to let you know that for you to have a better experience of what we do at Procyon, you need to download the Procyon Radio and TV app. You can get it on Google Play Store. Procyon is spelled Procyon. Download the Procyon Radio and TV app so you'll be able to watch us, listen to us, and get the very best of what we do right here. I don't forget to give a very big thank you to Truth Nigeria. It's a website where you get details of what's happening in Nigeria and all over the world, looking at it from the American angle or American eye. The website is www.truthnigeria. You get daily security alert. Daily, you'd also get what's in the news. Is a segment that brings you up to speed in respect of every news item that's happening in Nigeria. And you'd also read some lovely features, right? Once again, the website is www.truthnigeria.com. All right, my name is Ehis Agbon, and like always, I will say, go placidly amid the haste and noise, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be at peace with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to the others too, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their stories. Plant the tree today, water it, and watch it grow. Keep shining like the star that you are. Do have a pleasant evening. All through the week, from 5 to 6, you will always listen to Ground Zero on ProcyonNews.com.